Have you ever noticed a woman acting completely normal around everyone else, but the moment you walk in, something shifts? She gets quieter. She fumbles her words. She can't quite look you in the eye. Most men see that and think she's uncomfortable, maybe even that she doesn't like them. They're wrong. And that misread costs them more than they realize. That behavior you're noticing, it's actually one of 7 subtle signs that a woman is secretly in love with you. And most men have no idea what they're actually looking at. They miss these signals every single day. In this video, I'm breaking down the hidden things women do when they have real feelings, the behaviors we can't control, even when we try to hide how we feel. These aren't the obvious signs everyone talks about. These are the ones that slip right past you if you don't know what to look for. Pay close attention, because once you understand these signs, you'll never see her the same way again. Now, before I get into these 7 signs, I need you to understand something important. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't about playing games or trying to decode some secret female language. This is about awareness. Because here's what most men don't realize. Women are taught from a very young age to hide their feelings. We're told that being too forward is desperate, that showing too much interest gives away our power. So when a woman genuinely falls for someone, she often does everything she can to not let it show. That's not dishonesty. That's protection. And the men who understand this, they see what others miss. They notice the small things, the behaviors that don't make sense on the surface but mean everything underneath. So if you've ever wondered whether a woman secretly has feelings for you, these 7 signs will give you clarity, and some of them might completely surprise you. Here's the thing most men don't think about. When you miss these signs, you don't just stay confused. You actually start making the wrong moves. You pull back when you should lean in. You assume she's not interested when she's actually hoping you'll notice. And the longer this goes on, the more she starts to believe you don't feel the same way. That's when she protects herself. She stops giving signals altogether. She convinces herself to move on, not because the feelings aren't there, but because she thinks you don't see her that way. And here's what makes this worse. Most men are looking for the wrong signs entirely. They're waiting for her to be obvious, to text first every time, to tell them directly how she feels. But that's not how it works when the feelings are real. The deeper a woman's feelings, the more careful she becomes. The more she hides. The more she tests, without even realizing she's doing it. So if you want to know the truth about how she feels, you need to look beneath the surface. And that's exactly what we're about to do. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 7 specific behaviors women display when they're secretly in love. We'll start with the signs that are easier to spot, the things she does that might seem small, but actually reveal a lot. Then we'll move into the deeper signs, the ones that require you to pay closer attention. And finally, I'll show you the signs that seem like the opposite of interest, the behaviors most men completely misread. By the end of this video, you'll have a completely different understanding of how women communicate attraction. And you'll never look at her behavior the same way again. Let's start with sign number 1. Sign number 1. She remembers the small things you've told her, even things you've forgotten you said. Maybe you mentioned your favorite coffee order once, weeks ago, in passing, and then one day she shows up with it. Or you told her about a movie you wanted to see, and she brings it up later like it's been on her mind. This isn't just good memory. This is attention. Selective, focused attention on you. When a woman has feelings for someone, she unconsciously files away details about him. Not because she's trying to, but because everything he says matters more. His words stick. His preferences get stored. His stories replay in her mind when she's alone. Most men don't notice this because it seems so casual. She's not making a big deal out of it. She's just remembering. But that's exactly the point. Women don't remember random details about everyone. We remember details about people we care about, people we think about when they're not around. So if she brings up something you barely remember telling her, a childhood story, a passing comment, a preference you mentioned once, pay attention. That's not a coincidence. That's her revealing, without words, that you've been on her mind more than you realize. And here's the subtle part. She probably won't tell you she remembered. She'll just act on it quietly and hope you notice. Most men don't, but now you will. And that brings us to sign number 2, something even more telling. Sign number 2. Her body naturally angles toward you, even when she's not looking at you. This one is subtle, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. When a woman is genuinely attracted to someone, her body unconsciously orients itself in his direction. Her feet point toward him, her shoulders turn his way. Even in a group conversation, she'll position herself so she can see him without being obvious about it. This isn't something she decides to do. It's instinctive. Her body is literally drawn to you before her mind even catches up. And here's what makes this sign so powerful. It happens even when she's trying to play it cool. She might be acting casual, talking to other people, pretending she's not that interested, but her body tells the truth. It always does. Watch her in a room. Is she facing you more than others? Does she lean in slightly when you speak, even if she doesn't realize it? Does she find reasons to be physically closer to where you are? If the answer is yes, that's not random. That's attraction showing itself in the only way it can, when words feel too risky. Most men focus on what a woman says, but the real information is in what her body does when she thinks no one is paying attention. Now, speaking of physical behavior, sign number 3 takes this even further, and it's one most men completely overlook. Sign number 3, she finds small excuses to touch you. Not in an obvious way, not grabbing your arm or holding your hand, at least not yet, but in tiny, almost invisible moments. A light touch on your shoulder when she laughs, brushing against you when she walks by, fixing your collar or picking lint off your jacket. These micro-touches aren't accidents. They're calculated risks, her way of testing the waters without fully committing. Here's the psychology behind it. When a woman touches you, even briefly, she's creating a physical connection. And in her mind, she's also watching for your response. Did you pull away? Did you lean in? Did you even notice? If you respond positively, or even neutrally, she files that away as permission to get closer. If you pull back or seem uncomfortable, she'll retreat and convince herself she didn't mean anything by it. That's why most men miss this sign. It happens so fast, so casually, that it doesn't register. But for her, it's a big deal. Initiating touch, even small touch, is vulnerable. She's putting herself out there in a way that feels risky. So the next time she touches your arm during conversation, or playfully pushes you when you tease her, or finds any excuse to make physical contact, recognize it for what it is. That's not friendliness. That's her testing whether you're open to more. Now, if you've noticed any of these first 3 signs, pay close attention to what comes next, because signs 4 through 7 are where most men get completely lost. Sign number 4, and this is the one that confuses men more than any other. She gets nervous, awkward, or weirdly quiet around you. Wait, doesn't that sound like the opposite of interest? That's exactly why most men misread it. Here's what's actually happening. When a woman has casual feelings for someone, she can stay calm and composed. She's in control. But when her feelings run deep, when she genuinely cares what you think of her, that composure starts to crack. Suddenly, she's overthinking everything. She's worried about saying the wrong thing. She laughs too hard at jokes that aren't that funny. She stumbles over her words. She might even seem colder or more distant, not because she doesn't like you, but because she's trying so hard not to show how much she does. Think about it from her perspective. If she didn't care about you, she'd have nothing to lose. She'd be relaxed. But because she cares, because your opinion of her matters, every interaction feels like a test she doesn't want to fail. This is the sign most men get completely backwards. They see her acting strange and assume she's uncomfortable around them. They think she doesn't like them. And then they pull away, which only makes her more insecure. But now you know the truth. That nervousness isn't rejection. It's the opposite. It's her revealing, without meaning to, that you have power over how she feels. The question is, What do you do with that information? The answer is simple. You make her feel safe. You stay calm. You don't pull away just because she seems off. Because underneath that awkwardness is a woman who's hoping you'll see through the surface and recognize what's really there. Now, sign number 5 is closely connected to this one. Sign number 5. She notices when something about you changes, before anyone else does. New haircut? She mentions it. Different shirt than usual? She comments. You seem quieter than normal? She asks if you're okay. This might seem like nothing. Maybe she's just observant, right? But here's the thing. Women don't track details about everyone. We track details about people we're invested in. When a woman secretly loves you, you become her focus in ways she doesn't even fully realize. She studies you without meaning to. She picks up on shifts in your mood, your appearance, your energy, things that fly completely under everyone else's radar. And when she mentions these things, she's not just making conversation. She's revealing, indirectly, that she's paying attention, that you've been on her mind, that she notices you in a way that goes beyond casual friendship. Here's the subtle part. Most women won't say, "I noticed because I think about you all the time." Instead, she'll play it off casually. "Oh, you got a haircut? It looks good." Simple, easy to dismiss. But don't dismiss it, because behind that casual comment is hours, sometimes days, of mental attention you don't know about. She's been watching, analyzing, wondering about you. And the fact that she noticed something small, that's her letting you in, just a little bit. Now, signs 6 and 7 are where things get really interesting. These are the signs that seem like the opposite of love, the behaviors most men completely misread. Sign number 6. And this one might be the hardest to accept. She starts acting more distant, specifically because her feelings are getting stronger. I know, it sounds backwards. If she likes you, shouldn't she want to be closer? In theory, yes. But in reality, deep feelings are terrifying, especially for women who've been hurt before or who fear rejection. Here's what happens. When her feelings move from casual interest to something real, her internal alarm system goes off. She starts thinking, "This is getting serious. What if he doesn't feel the same? What if I get hurt?" And what does she do? She pulls back. Not because the feelings aren't there, but because they're too strong. She's protecting herself before she gets in too deep. This is the sign that destroys more potential relationships than almost anything else. Because when she pulls away, most men assume she's lost interest. They stop reaching out. They move on. And she interprets that as confirmation that he never cared in the first place. But here's what you need to understand. Sometimes distance isn't rejection. Sometimes it's fear disguised as indifference. And the men who recognize this, who stay steady, who don't panic, who give her space without disappearing, those are the men she eventually opens up to. Remember earlier when I talked about how women hide their feelings to protect themselves? This is that dynamic at its most intense. The stronger she feels, the more vulnerable she becomes. And the more vulnerable she feels, the more likely she is to create distance. Don't let that distance fool you. Now, sign number 7 is the final piece, and it ties everything together. Sign number 7. She tests you, without even realizing she's doing it. This might sound manipulative, but it's not. It's instinctive. And understanding it will change everything. When a woman has real feelings for a man, she needs to know she can trust him, not just with her heart, but with her emotions, her vulnerability, her future. And the only way she can figure that out is by testing how he responds under pressure. These tests are rarely obvious. She might cancel plans last minute to see if you get angry or stay calm. She might mention another guy to see if you get jealous or stay confident. She might go quiet for a few days to see if you chase or give her space. She's not playing games. She's gathering information. She's asking herself, is this man emotionally stable? Can he handle me at my worst? Will he still be here when things get hard? And here's the key. Most men fail these tests, not because they're bad guys, but because they don't understand what's happening. They react emotionally. They get defensive. They pull away. And in her mind, that tells her everything she needed to know. But the men who pass, they stay grounded. They don't take the bait. They respond with patience instead of panic. And when she sees that, her walls come down, her trust goes up, and her feelings become impossible to hide. So if you've noticed a woman acting inconsistent, hot one day, cold the next, don't assume the worst. Ask yourself, is she testing me? And if so, how am I responding? Because your response tells her whether you're worth the risk. Now, before I wrap this up, there's one more thing you need to hear. And here's the hard truth most men don't want to hear. She won't wait forever. I know that sounds harsh, but you need to understand this. A woman can secretly love you for weeks, months, sometimes even years. But at some point, if she doesn't see any sign that you feel the same way, she'll start to let go. Not because the feelings disappeared, but because holding on to someone who doesn't seem to notice her becomes too painful. And here's the part that should wake you up. By the time she's moved on emotionally, it's usually too late. You can't get back what you didn't recognize when it was right in front of you. So if you've been watching this video and thinking about a specific woman, if you've recognized some of these signs in someone you know, don't wait. The window doesn't stay open forever. Now I want to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these signs in a woman you know? Is there someone in your life right now who might secretly have feelings for you? Drop a comment below and tell me which sign stood out to you the most, or which one you think you might have been misreading this whole time. I read every single comment, and I genuinely want to know what resonated with you. And if this video helped you see things differently, consider subscribing. Because understanding women isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about paying attention to what's really being communicated. Once you learn to see what others miss, everything changes. I'll see you in the next one.